So let's imagine that you're in a big body of water. And let's say that you're in a pool, maybe a lake, maybe an ocean or sea, and sadly, you're drowning. Somebody throws you a rope, and instead of grabbing it, you hold on to the rock that's pulling you deeper underwater. I don't know that sounds very irrational, yet every single day, traders do something very similar. Like a trade moves against them, and their stop loss is reached, and their trading plan says to exit. But guess what? They don't. Instead, they tell themselves, I'll probably come back. The market is just shaking people out. I'll close it later. Minutes become hours. Hours become days. And a small loss quietly becomes a very devastating one. The strange part is most traders already know that they should exit. So why don't they? So holding a losing trade is usually not a technical problem, right? It's an emotional one. Because sometimes hope becomes far more dangerous than fear. So listen, hope is one of humanity's greatest strength. It helps people survive difficult times. It keeps us moving forward when life becomes uncertain. Without hope, many of history's greatest achievements would never have happened. But psychology teaches us something important here. Every strength becomes a weakness, especially when it's applied in the wrong place. And trading is one of those places that you should not have hope for, especially when you're in a trade. Because the market does not reward hope, it rewards probabilities. Now imagine buying a very hot item lately on eBay or Craigslist for like $1,500. You know it has a very high resale value and high potential profits with it, right? But the next day somebody offers you $900 for it. Obviously you would say no because you know that it could possibly sell more, but you keep on waiting and looking in other marketplaces and the price just keeps on dropping every single day. You refuse to sell and hope that it's going to go up, but most people reject selling it, not because the item is worth more, but because accepting the lower price feels like admitting that they lost money. And guess what? The price just keeps on dropping and dropping and never went back to that same price. And the same thing happens in trading. Closing a losing position transform an unrealized loss into a realized one. And psychologically, those two feel completely different. Even though your account balance already reflects the loss, your brain treats it as if the loss is not real yet until you press the sell button. Listen, when price moves against us, our mind begin creating stories. Like institutions are hunting stops. It's just a pullback. Everybody else is panicking. And the market knows that I'm in this trade, so they're out here to get my position. Notice something here. None of those thoughts are objective. They're emotional, and the brain is not searching for the truth, it's searching for relief because hope reduces anxiety, even if it doesn't improve reality. Now, psychologists calls this the sunk cost fallacy. Imagine you watch 2 hours of a terrible movie. You know it's awful, but instead of turning it off, you keep on watching. Why? Because you've already invested 2 hours into it, and leaving now somehow feels like wasting that time. And trading creates that same illusion. You tell yourself, I've already lost $800. I can't close it now. Maybe it'll recover. But the market does not care what you've already invested. Every second is a new decision. The only question that matters is, would you actually enter this trade today knowing what you know right now? And think about this, and here's something that many traders never consider. A losing trade is not just about the money. It often feels personal. Like you spend hours and time analyzing, like you build a thesis in how the market should move today, and you believe in the setup. So when the market proves you're wrong, it can feel like you are wrong. And that's why closing a loss sometimes feels like failure. But not because they're the same thing, because look, a trader can fail without being a failure. Professional traders understand this distinction, but beginner traders, they often don't. Look, hope has a strange effect on time. We tell ourselves, I'll give it 5 more minutes before it goes my way. Or guess what? 5 minutes becomes 30. 30 becomes 2 hours. And eventually, the decision becomes even harder. Because now the loss is larger. And ironically, the longer we avoid discomfort, the more discomfort that we create. So sadly, social media sells false hope. Like, open your app right now, any social media app on any trading day, and you'll see predictions, bold opinions, and people calling exact tops and bottoms. And you even hear phrases like diamond hands, never sell, just be patient. And you know what? Those ideas work in some situations, but not every situation. Look, market change, conditions change, and good traders adapt. But blind hope does not pay. I promise you that. So, like, listen to this. One thing that separates professionals from beginner traders: professionals don't ask, can this trade still work? They ask, does this trade still fit my plan? And those questions sound familiar and similar, but psychologically, they're worlds apart. One is driven by emotions, and the other is by discipline. So many traders confuse hope with confidence, right? Hope says, I wish this works. Confidence says, if this doesn't work, I'll just simply follow my plan. And hope depends on the outcome. Confidence depends on the process. And that's why disciplined traders, they appear calm. Their emotional state isn't tied to a single trade outcome. It's tied to consistency to their process. So listen to this. I'm about to tell you probably the most expensive phrase you ever hear or tell yourselves. And these four words probably have emptied more trading accounts than almost anything else. Here it is. Maybe it'll come back. Sometimes it does. And that's what makes this trading habit so dangerous. Because occasionally being rewarded for bad behavior teaches the brain the wrong lesson. And you know what? It's very similar to never wearing a seatbelt and surviving an accident, right? Look, the outcome does not make a decision good. So the next time you're holding a losing trade, pause, take a pause. Ask yourself, if I had no position right now, would I still open this trade at this exact price? If the answer is no, like, why are you still holding it? And that question separates attachment from objectivity. Look, many traders quietly believe that the market owes them something, right? After everything I studied, after all this patience, after waiting all week, and the truth is, the market owes us nothing. You know what? It's not fair. It will never be fair. That's how it is. And once you stop expecting fairness, you become much better at accepting reality. And accepting reality is one of the most valuable skills a trader can develop. Look, every consistently profitable trader out there eventually discovers the same truth. Small losses are tuition, and large losses are often optional. And honestly, like, nobody enjoys taking a loss, but refusing to accept one does not prevent it. It usually magnifies it. Look, the goal is not to avoid losing, the goal is to lose well. Because every trader, every successful trader loses. That's how it is. And the difference is, these successful traders, they lose small enough to keep trading for tomorrow. So here's the conclusion here. Hope is beautiful, right? It helps people rebuild after tragedy. It inspires innovation. It encourages perseverance. But trading asks something unusual of us. It asks us to separate hope from decision making. Because the market does not respond to optimism, it responds to probability. And sometimes the bravest decision is not holding at all. It's about letting go. Letting go of that losing trade, letting go of that prediction that is now proving to be wrong, and letting go of the need to be right. The successful trader who survived for decades, aren't the ones who never experienced hope. They're the ones who know when hope has stopped serving them. Because discipline often feels uncomfortable in that very moment. But comfort today can become catastrophic tomorrow. So the next time a trade moves against you, don't ask, can this trade still work? Ask something far more important. Does this trade still belong in my trading plan? And one question is driven by emotion and the other is driven by process. And over hundreds of trades, that difference changes everything. Remember this. You do not become a great trader by avoiding losses. You become a great trader by refusing to let small losses become life-changing ones. Because in the end, again, the market does not reward hope. It rewards discipline. All right, master your mind, master the market. This is NQ State of Mind. If you like this video in any way, shape, or form, please like, comment, and subscribe. I promise I will respond to you. I hope that you have a good trading day today and follow your plan. Again, we'll see you tomorrow.